YouTube broadcast, and let's hear from you what you have to share. Felipe, Sandra, Yanis, good evening, good night. Lou, good morning. I hope you can hear us. Do you get a signal coming? Dear Felipe, I heard or I read that you have a song or song just came. If I understood well, you're most welcome to share it with us. If you can open the mic or unmute. Sandra, if you can speak. Luke, if you can speak at the moment. Yes? Here, the microphone is a bit loud. Yes? Yes? Yes. Can you hear now, Luke? Felipe? The sound is not loud? Good. Good to hear you all. And maybe you can unmute and speak, Felipe. If you have a guitar, yes? Very good. Very good. We shall hear Felipe now. We're doing well. Thank you, Sandra.
Hello, Eti.
Hello, good morning. How do you do today?
I'm fine, Eti. And how do you do?
Good. Beautiful day here.
Good. Good to hear it.
How it is for you today?
It's good, Eti. I am back home now. We were in a trip, and I just came, but I'm still, I still have some days off, and just glad to be here. I was reading this post on Jonah that Sandra asked, and you sent a research a quest on the blog on your blog, and I was just reading some a post. There was this post on Jonah, and it was really beautiful to read it. There are so many layers. And so I was just with his name and just thinking about entering the session, and a melody came. And I don't used to write many words on the music. I prefer to put music in words. So there is just a beginning of a song.
Yes.
And I was just wondering and wishing to ask you, and who else would like to collaborate with it.
Of course. Can you play now the beginning or?
Yes.
Very good. So I hope
can play it.
Yes. I hope everyone can hear Felipe. Soon he will play the guitar. Yes.
And it's just to say it is like a spark, a beginning. And I was just thinking of maybe I was playing later. I'll play first.
Yes.
Jonah woke up in the morning. La da 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 na na na. Do 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 na na na. Like a story, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Jonah.
Thank you so much for
That's
sharing.
it.
Mhm. Thank you so much
Just
for.
a spark.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
I was just imagining like a story of Jonah, you know, like when you see a movie, you know, he wakes up in the morning, he maybe would kiss his mother goodbye. I was just thinking, remembering about the Elisha story. I mean, he's the the boy that Elisha go, resuscitated. And just thinking about this, you know, a melody, a song, and some words with like a story of Jonah, but you know, entering in the sod,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it.
Thank you for sharing this
I'm just
impression
glad to
because
share it.
yes,
Glad to share it. Eti.
it brings a picture, so it is beautiful and encouraging to write. I mean, you already said it, so just beautiful,
I was
beautiful.
just thinking of, you know, with um, the image that came. It was like a
Sorry, can you
yes.
continue? There is a bombing attack. Please continue. Lead,
Sorry.
lead. Bye. Continue. We have to go. Continue to
Okay,
broadcast.
okay, okay. Oh, this is sorry. This is so hard, Eti. Hard to see, to hear it. Friends, I will just play something, wishing that our friends are safe and God is with him. This song was what came today, and Eti just had to left. They were with being struck by bomb attack. I think they are going to a bunker or something. Thank you, Sandra. I don't know if I can allow if anyone would like to say something. I don't know if I have the ability to allow it. I guess it's only 80 for she's the I don't know if anyone would like to speak. Please be safe, 80. Yes. So I guess they are going out. I assume that 80 won't come back for some time now, and well, maybe I can continue speaking and playing if you wish to, and we can continue the session here. Please please say something if you'd like to listen, and we can continue. If you have any subjects you want to bring, please we can just have a conversation. Maybe I will be the only that can. Yes, Sandra, if you, anyone, if you can just raise the hand, I can see if I can, allow it. Invite to speak. Okay. I saw Sandra. Yes, Sandra, you can open your mic.
Excellent. Good morning, Felipe.
Hello, Sandra.
Yeah, I really don't know what to say. It just makes me so nervous when this happens. I feel scared for her. My hands are actually sweating.
Yes. Yes, it's. I can even. I cannot even imagine. You know, we never
Me either.
been through this kind of situation. It's once in earlier sessions. I mean, some years ago, when there was similar or bomb attacks and so it is said it's like a daily bread for them. It's I mean they are prepared in a way for this, and they are used to it in a way that we cannot understand.
Yeah.
So I hope they are safe. I hope they are safe.
Yes.
So Sandra, I want to thank you because I was just reading your post, and Rodrigo, hello Rodrigo. He also congratulates you for the videos, and it's a
Thank you. Thank you.
beautiful work you are doing.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, it was it's weird. I tried to record it so many times, and for some reason I just could not get through certain words. I would have these like 1-minute pauses just looking at a word going, how do I even say this word? And I finally just had to push through and just disregard whether it sounded good or not and just do it. you know?
Yeah, yeah.
No.
It's a lot of courage, and it's beautiful because when you share it, you have no control about what it will bring, what will rise from for other people. I mean, maybe there are someone just learned to write Dalet because you teach them. This is a beautiful
Right.
perspective.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and it's like, of course, I feel like so small and insignificant. Like, who would ever watch my video? Who would ever learn from me? But that's how it
There
is.
is no me. There is no me. This is the whole
Right.
point. There is no me.
Yes,
There is
that's
no
right. It's
there is no personal doership. Yeah.
yeah.
And we are
Yes.
not separate entities, individuals. Yes, as we are educated or we were taught that we are. We are not finite selves. So, and I would like to speak on this moment because here it's the 7th of October and there's a, so to speak, memorial day to what happened 1 year ago.
Yes.
Usually, the Bible says that Rosh Hashanah is a memorial day. Yom Zikaron, Zichron Teruah, remembering, yes, Zichron Teruah, remembering the blast or the blow of the horn, Zichron, Zikaron, remembering. What is to remember in general? To remember one thing, because Rosh Hashanah is the beginning of time. Rosh, the beginning of year, time. What to remember one thing? That we were never been born and we shall never die. This is to remember one thing. Not born and not die. It's very simple. All the rest is just narration of selfing. Yes? once a body is being born, there is a cut. Yes, the body has its own mechanism, and it in a way broadcasts to us 24/7 that we are separate entities. We have a name, we have address, and so a birth date. And this is the illusion, yes, that will circles us, yes, from the beginning to end. What to remember? Remember that it's not existing. It's just mechanical happening, like a spider web. This is very important to remember. We're not doing anything. We're not writing. Yes, we're not doing anything. We're not causing ourselves to inhale or to pump our heart. This is something that's happening all the time through us. Yes, the birds, they don't decide in the morning in executive meeting where to fly to. It just happens, they fly. Things are just happening. All the rest is just a narration. Today I was in a shop. I had to arrange something, and suddenly there was like a broadcast from the radio. There's again attack, and the owner of the shop told the worker, "They don't let us remember." Yes, 7th of October, because people, and please pay attention how myth is being created. 7th of October last year was. Now there is a mechanical trial by people, what? To freeze this moment in time and to make something from it. We don't need, in a way, to make a memorial or to remember. There's a constant happening of what is happened in the 7th of October, not just on the 7th of October, but every day here. Yes, people are being targeted because they just want to live. By missiles, by drones, by bombs, by knives, by grenades. Yes, being slaughtered just walking to a coffee and try to celebrate any kind of holiday. So you don't need to freeze this sculpture in time and to pin it now 7th of October, and only now this is every moment is to remember that we are here. We were never been born, and therefore we shall never die. Everything is to the eye of the beholder. Today, there is a special day because there's a sense of, okay, 1 year passed on the calendar, and people wants to remark and then to pin it or to teach it, God knows what. But there's on top of everything, there is a psychological ring on everyone here. How to relate to this day, because it's just another day in which we breathe and we sneeze and the birds are flying. And I saw today a lady, she was working in this baby's shop, clothes shop, and there's a beautiful smell there. And she was standing out of the shop because nobody came to buy anything today. And she just took her fists and beated her own forehead. Maybe she had a headache, maybe she had like some kind of internal turmoil of what is happening here already 1 year. And she was beating her forehead with her two fists, like if she would beat her forehead enough or hard enough, the pain will go. And it didn't seem to me that she was suffering from like hydration, from lack of drinking, let's say, or it was too hot. She was just trying to beat something inside of her. And she noticed that I saw this, so she stopped. And people were crying all over the place. there is a sense of let's try to circle the Holocaust to zero. Let's try to contain. It is not to contain. It is not to circle. This is life. Yes, sometimes there's flood and people are dying. There's earthquake, people are dying. There are all kinds of horror things. Horror or not horror, this is what life is about, but don't take it as a finite truth. The suffering comes from trying to narrate what is happening. There's constant bombing here. We can only go to the supermarket or to bring supply if there's like a pausa, or the Israeli Air Force is going for attack, so to speak. So there is a coverage from the sky, so we can go for a few minutes and bring like supply. Things that people do not even consider in a blink of an eye living in other countries. Israel is attacked by 7 different countries at the same time, 24/7. So there are bunkers here and there, yes? And there is there's a good heart in action here all the time. People live life in spite of everything. There is no conditions here. Life has no condition to live. This is a daily bread. This is the only thing that Israel is standing as a fortress against insanity. This is sanity that stands as a fortress against insanity that circles it from all directions. And this is, in a way, one of the reasons that we are speaking to you, in spite of what is happening, whether it's earthquake, corona, attacks, missiles attacks, ballistics attacks. There is no, even in a way, enough vocabulary to use to what people here are observing every day. And all of those days, only for 1 hour, the airspace of Israel was closed. Only 1 hour or so. Everybody is doing, or everybody, let's say, enabling life here. Good morning, Fernando. We are very happy to see you here. Good morning, Rodrigo. I hope you had a very good weekend together, all our friends. Not just mind and mental. This is to how do you live life. Imagine that you wake up in the morning from missile attack. Either the missile land next to your garden. Yes? Imagine that you wake up not from alarm and not from your phone and not from your cat, but a rocket hit the ground next to your window or a siren. Yes? And not just in the morning, 24/7. Yes? Yes, and you cannot just leave the house whenever you like and go to the supermarket or travel to the supermarket, or can take a walk or ride your bicycle or listen to music. You just can't. In the West, everything is I, yes, iPhone, yes, me and mine, yes, my phone, my coffee, yes, my house, my car, my job, my story, and so on. Yeah? Here, there isn't something like that. People will share whatever they have, a shelter, the food with the cats, yes, the shadow under the tree, they will share. Yes, because they notice there is a sense of a mutual understanding by the heart that everyone who lives here, and it doesn't matter from which origin he is or she is, what language, what continent they're coming from, everybody is living under this ring. Whether they are workers like builders, yes, that are coming here for just to build for a while, like visa for work, whether they are caretakers coming from Asia, it doesn't matter. This is what there is. And there's an understanding that everybody are living under the same condition, same terror for years. For years. I don't know what has to happen in the West that people will wake up. I just don't know. Another 9/11. Another Pearl Harbor attack. What? Not just also in Europe. People are continue to go to their coffee houses like nothing matters and to plan their days. Yes, according to the clock and to the hours. Like something like this can never bother their life. What Israel is now standing almost for 1 year, not to mention many, many years before, the same cycle is already rooted up all over the world. Whether governments, universities in the States are paying attention to this or not, also in Europe it's the same. Yes, insanity is all over the place. There is not, in a way, Israel and the world. Yes, what is happening here happens all over. People cannot imagine. There's a phone calls that we're receiving from Europe. From Germany. People ask us, listen to the question. What do you think in Israel when Israel defends herself against 7 countries? What do you think? They don't even speak in these terms that Israel is attacked by 7 countries 24/7 and more, yes? But Israel defends all kinds of questions that people that only people that live in hallucination will create such a question. While we were in Germany, we noticed, we went to such a supermarket, we noticed the ground is already shaking there. The youth, Muslim youth, are taking over supermarkets, public domains. Yes, and people are just what? Don't open their mouths, never resist. Never behave, so to speak, or protect anything, because it's not accepted. And the carpet is being pulled under their feet. So Israel is not, what is happening in Israel today is not just a news section. This is what is happening now. And it's real. And it's real. To the eye of to the one who is looking. Yes. Yes. To the one who's looking. People never stop narrating themselves. What a jail. What a jail. Only when we stop paying attention to this narration, we can simply live. Yes? Only when there's a stopping or we just lose interest in this stupid narration, we basically live. All the rest is just making of a story of what life is. Flowers are blooming, birds are flying, the wind moves through the waves of the sea. The trees are moving in the wind. Life is life. And any trial to box or to put a fence around life, it just ends with like Lot's wife sculpture. Yes? This is trying to stop life. Trying to put plastic surgeries or plasters on appearance and disappearance. Life is living in the moment. There is a moment of peace, and there is a moment of flood, and there is a moment of war. There isn't, and this is the story of Abraham, and I repeat it every time. There is no take your son. How can we take something? How can we do any kind of action? Your son. There is no your son. Yes, that you loved. Like if someone is capable of loving. Just don't bite into this narration, self-narration. Just don't bite into it. Yes, yes, like that, Abigail. Yes. It is impossible, yes, to give what you don't have. Yes. Yes. And the great relief is that there isn't any narration. Just mechanical happening. And once you don't listen to it, you tell yourself it's the radio again, this self-narration radio, and you lose interest in the self-radio station. So there's only life. It's quite simple. Life cannot lived by the head or from the head. We were listening, yes, to this conversation with or between Joseph and Pharaoh. Yes, life can only be lived from presence. Narration or narrated story is invention. Yes, is an illusion, is a spider web that the mechanical brain is weaving, collecting 2 or 3, 4 facts. Yes, and weaving a story, a narration against us. Yes, that we are losers. Yes, or we against the world and so on. This is not true. There is a beautiful midrash about Yetzer Hara. Yetzer Hara, so to speak, is considered to be, if I translate it into English, people would say like bad will, yes, or negative will. This is basically duality, because this is not literal translation. Yes, Yetzer Hara is not just a bad, evil will or intention, but duality. And the sages are saying, how does it begin? And they say Yetzer Hara, or duality, starts as a spider web, very thin, transparent, almost not noticeable. But when we don't notice this thin, yes, transparent thread or web develop to become such a thick rope, like rope that you can pull a boat or a wagon with. This is the self-narration. This is what the sages are mentioning as Yetzer Hara. There is no evil intention or evil tendency. There's only duality that puts in a way, or separates things. So in the beginning, it seems like something which is unrecognizable, unnoticeable. Yes, like a thread. What is a spider web? Nothing. But when we listen to it, and we pumped it, and we cleave it onto this broadcast, it becomes like a very, very thick rope that we can pull a boat with. So just don't listen to it. Or lose interest. Yes, Felipe.
Eti, I
Yes.
was just listening and thinking about the fact that we feel separated from God in a way, like it's as we are different from this divinity, and I mean we do not accept the oneness as we are one with God. And then I guess this is the beginning of the duality. To see us as the beholder and God as something external. And because if we assume this externality of God, we cannot never assume unity. You know what I mean? I don't know if
Yes.
I made myself clear, but it seems that this perception of duality comes directly from this assumption of God as something external.
Yes, but God is not external. I mean, the assumption that God is external is just a reflection of first and foremost of a person feels external or he sees himself against the world.
Yeah.
Yes, so to put it or to relate to this, that a person think that God is external, is man is external to the world, sees himself external. He sees the world and himself like a battlefield. And of course God is external because the man is external and alienated from everything, so he just project everything on God, so to speak. A very nice invention, yes? Invent God that you can throw, that people can throw everything to God. Accuse and blame. Yes, there's external cause, so to speak. Everything you can hang on God. No? So the good hanger. This is a beautiful question that Shlomo asked, what is to correct? Yes, correction. So we were just saying that correction is just a translation. There is nothing to correct and to repair because there's always moving between languages. Correction in English is like repairing. In Hebrew, tikkun. Tikkun, correction. And the same, with the same letters in a different order, we're creating the word tinok. Tinok is a baby in Hebrew. The same letters in a different order. Either it's a correction or a baby. So a baby is a self-centered being. And the correction, yes, tinok is a self-centered being. But if we rearrange the letters, the correction is to shift the perspective. We are not babies, yes? So this is the correction, tinok tikkun. The correction is to understand that we are not the center of the world, that we have no persona whatsoever. We don't have a self-story or self-narrated story. And this is the correction, not that we have to take a hammer and a nail and to correct and fix everything, just to shift, to look from a different perspective. So there is no need to fix, yes, or to repair something mechanically. Just to see that we are not the center of the world. Like a baby, this is the instinct of a baby to strive to remain alive, yes, in a few days, first few days or years. There is no need in it. This is the correction. What happened is during the generations, or the text moved from one language to another, they also had to translate the tikkun, because now Sandra is learning tikkun aklali, general correction. What is the correction? Tikkun aklali. To understand that someone is not the center of the world. So whom do you feed? The final correction? Whom do you feed? Yes? The correction, the general correction, or the final correction. Whom do you feed this story with? Babies, you feed them with the stories. Yes? And then a person opens Tikkun HaKlali, read every day 2 chapters, 3 chapters, and he feels, wow, I did it. I mark V. I did it. I read 2 Psalms. Yes, 1 Ecclesiastes. I did it. Yes? To whom can you sell such an idea? To baby's mind. To one who has a personal doership. And he will eat this in quantities. Like spiritual workshop. To whom can you send a spiritual workshop? To a self-centered person. This is what the baby likes, Sandra. Yes, this is a baby's mindset. Yes? Every day sits next to a chapter. I did it. Yes? He's the center. I'm the doer. If I do this correction, I'm corrected. It's bullshit. You just feed this more and more. You give a bone to the dog. This is what it does. Those terms, yes, were invented. That will people bite on them? What happens when somebody reads something? There's a sense of achieving. Yes? Who needs it? The personal doer. I did that. I've accomplished that. I push through. What happens if people stop pushing through? Who will die? The ego. What will stay? The being. Because this is the core of everything. Weinreb was taken into concentration camp. Yes, in Germany in the time of Second World War, and then after the war he was judged by the Dutch let's say court as cooperating with the Germans Nazis, and he also was sentenced after the war ended. Yes, he was sentenced by the Dutch court to spend 3 years in jail. And one day he was isolated from any human contact. Yes, and one day they came and beat him up completely. And at one point, Weinreb writes in his book that they continued to beat his body like if there was something inside. But the soul just watches all of this in a way from the outside. There's nothing inside to beat. There's nothing. Only someone who was beaten up. I was beaten up like this too. And at some point, you see this happening from the outside, that somebody thinks that he beats someone, but there's nothing there. Nothing, is just watching. Yes? Yes. Nothing. There's nothing. This is what scares you, Sandra. The nothingness. You're afraid of nothing. You're afraid from nothingness. Yes, it is felt. It is felt. Every word that you say, written, yes, spoken, it is felt. You're afraid. Let it go. It's not yours. The fear is not yours. Yes? Infinite has no fears. Infinite does not need to build a walls of protections. Yes? Yes. He is not among the living, Luke. He is not among the living. Yes. Yes. The only fear that there is from nothing. People are afraid. They are building, they are planning all kinds of cycles to push this nothing. Football, tennis club, social club, sports matches, boating, whatever. There's nothing inside. And it is so calm and peaceful. It was or had never been born, and it will never perish or die. This is it. This is the truth. Weinreb, in those 3 years, and he speaks about it later, that he was held by the Dutch authorities in jail conditions or captivity. He was isolated from every human contact whatsoever after crossing or being in the war under the German and Nazis concentration camp. And he says that he was so out of any human contact. They gave him only a pencil and a page. This is the only thing that they gave him. Food, not even sometimes, like not sometimes, yes. Beating, sometimes the food, but a pencil and a white page. That he was so isolated from any human contact that the only thing that he had or could see or could sense was the biblical stories and the laws. And suddenly he noticed there's a mathematical truth behind everything. And he said that if, and please pay attention very, very, very carefully to this, that if he was not under those conditions of 3 years isolation completely from human contact, he would never have written Roots of the Bible. This is the, I don't want to say consequence or something, it's the fruit of the tree of life. He was so isolated that the only thing he could do is to speak to the white page, the notebook, the pencil. So the book that all of us are struggling to read, are struggling to understand. This is not news feed. Just that you will maybe have a glimpse, a little window to what he had to go through to isolate himself so hard for so many years to bring about the writing of this book. This book, what we do in those sessions, it's not the fruit of being socializing, sitting in cafe houses, listening to gossip, dancing in parties. Those things are not going together hand in hand. Not at all. Not at all. We are not the architects of our lives. We in a way did not cause to ourselves to be born to appear in a certain space and time. Yes, life has its own way to deliver humans, and each and every one of us is a vehicle. Our opinion is not needed. Life, it is just what is happening, and we don't know any of what is happening. We can never know, or we can never have even a little glimpse of what is really happening. And this is humbling notion. And with this sentence, I would like to thank each and every one of you for participating in this session. To thank you, Felipe, for playing the new song. To thank all of you, Luke, Rodrigo, Abigail, Yannis, Sandra, and friends on YouTube. And wish you a very good week, beautiful life, and see you soon. Toda v'shalom.